You know, what can we learn from what happened inside of Lehman Brothers? There are so many valuable lessons, and the real thought that wakes me up sometimes in the middle of the night is if you do the math and you take Drexel Burnham and Continental Illinois in the 80s, and those were the big crisis, the S&L crisis in the 80s, and you take long-term capital in the 90s, which is about 10 years later, that's a factor of about 10 in size. And then from long-term capital in the 90s to Lehman, it's a factor of 100. So these financial crises are growing exponentially much more so than global GDP. And Richard made a fantastic point about the global regulatory framework's ability to keep up with the complexities of Wall Street and the global, you know, what all the 21st century financial products, and essentially many people inside of Lehman Brothers that were in charge really didn't thoroughly understand some of the risks and the leverage in the system. I think looking at the legislation that's going behind the scenes in Washington, the last 3 weeks we've had amazing negotiations between the Senate and House conference committees, and they've been kind of melding together this legislation, this financial reform. And, you know, unfortunately, it doesn't address corporate governance. I can't see really anything inside of it that addresses boards of directors' obligation. At Lehman Brothers, we had a board that was really detached from the risk-taking people in the trading floor at Lehman Brothers. And, you know, this piece of legislation, as we know, doesn't address Fannie and Freddie. And the legislation really doesn't address the rating agencies. It does some good things, and I think controlling leverage and increasing capital requirements is all well and good. But my message on the Global Lecture Tour is really about learning from what happened inside of Lehman Brothers, and I really think it was the crime of the century, and I don't want it ever to happen again.